There is a version of you that already knows your life could be better. A version of you that is tired of excuses, tired of wasting time, tired of feeling mentally exhausted while pretending everything is fine. And the scary part is, deep down you already know what is destroying your peace. It is not bad luck, it is not your past. It is not even other people. It is the small habits you repeat every single day without questioning them. The habits that slowly weaken your confidence, your focus, your discipline, and your identity. Most people think change takes years. That is a lie. Sometimes your life changes in 1 week, one decision, one mindset shift, one moment where you finally become honest with yourself. Because transformation does not begin when your circumstances change. It begins when your standards change. And in this video, I am going to show you the 5 habits that completely changed the way I think, the way I move, the way I handle pressure, and the way I see myself. These habits are simple, but do not underestimate them. Simple habits repeated consistently can either build your future or quietly destroy it. By the end of this video, you are going to realize why you feel stuck, why your mind feels overwhelmed, why your energy disappears so quickly, and why discipline has felt impossible for so long. But more importantly, you are going to understand how to take your power back. Because once you master these 5 habits, you stop reacting to life emotionally, and you start controlling it intentionally. Most people lose the battle for their peace before they even get out of bed. Think about that. Before their feet touch the floor, before they drink water, before they breathe deeply, before they spend even 1 second listening to their own thoughts, they reach for the phone. And in that moment, they unconsciously hand control of their emotional state to the world. Notifications become their morning alarm for anxiety. Messages become emotional instructions. Social media becomes psychological conditioning. And they repeat this every single day without realizing what it is doing to their mind. I used to do the same thing. The first thing I touched every morning was not my own purpose. It was distraction. I would wake up and immediately scroll. Opinions, drama, other people's success, other people's lifestyles, other people's problems, and slowly, without realizing it, I trained my mind to start every day reacting instead of thinking. That is dangerous. Because the quality of your life is deeply connected to the quality of your attention. And attention is one of the most stolen things in modern society. People think they are tired because they work too hard. Sometimes they are tired because their mind never rests. It never becomes still. It never has silence. It never has clarity. There is always noise entering the brain, always stimulation, always consumption. And eventually, a person loses connection with themselves. That is why so many people feel mentally exhausted even when they have done nothing physically demanding. Their nervous system is overloaded. Their mind is overcrowded. Their emotions are constantly being manipulated by information they never needed in the first place. So I made one simple change. For the first 30 minutes every morning, I stopped touching my phone. No scrolling, no messages, no checking who liked what, no entering the emotional chaos of the world before checking in with myself. And at first, it felt uncomfortable. Extremely uncomfortable, because silence exposes you. Most people are not afraid of being alone. They are afraid of hearing what their mind sounds like without distraction. The phone has become an emotional escape route. Every time people feel uncertainty, boredom, insecurity, or discomfort, they reach for stimulation. They escape into noise because silence forces self-awareness. But self-awareness is where transformation begins. When I stopped flooding my mind with information first thing in the morning, I started noticing my thoughts more clearly. I noticed how anxious my thinking had become. I noticed how reactive I was emotionally. I noticed how often I woke up already feeling pressure before the day had even started. And then I realized something powerful. Most stress is not created by reality. It is created by uncontrolled mental consumption. The human mind was never designed to absorb thousands of opinions, comparisons, arguments, and emotional triggers every single morning. But that is exactly what most people do. They wake up and immediately enter a digital battlefield. Then they wonder why they feel emotionally unstable all day. Your mornings matter more than you think. Because the way you start your day shapes the direction of your mind. If you begin your morning with distraction, your mind becomes scattered. If you begin your morning with urgency, your nervous system stays tense. But if you begin your morning with intentional silence, your thinking becomes sharper, clearer, stronger. I started sitting quietly in the mornings, sometimes for 10 minutes, sometimes longer. No music, no entertainment, just silence, just observing my own thoughts instead of running from them. And something started changing inside me. I became less reactive, less emotionally impulsive, less dependent on external validation. Because silence teaches you emotional control. When you constantly consume noise, you become psychologically fragile. Every opinion affects you. Every criticism hurts you. Every notification controls your emotions. But when you learn how to sit with your own thoughts calmly, you develop internal stability. And internal stability is rare today. Most people are externally controlled. Their mood depends on messages. Their confidence depends on attention. Their peace depends on circumstances. But disciplined people learn how to create peace internally before seeking anything externally. That is power. There is a reason highly focused people protect their mornings aggressively. They understand that mornings are psychological territory, and if you allow the world to invade your mind too early, you spend the rest of the day mentally recovering from it. You have to understand this deeply. Every morning, your brain is in a highly impressionable state. What you consume during those first moments matters. If the first thing you consume is negativity, your mind carries that emotional energy throughout the day. If the first thing you consume is comparison, insecurity grows quietly. If the first thing you consume is chaos, your nervous system adapts to chaos. And eventually chaos starts feeling normal. That is why some people cannot sit still anymore. Silence feels uncomfortable because their brain has become addicted to stimulation. They do not know how to exist without constant noise. But growth requires silence. Wisdom requires silence. Self-respect requires silence. Because in silence you finally hear the truth about your life. You hear the excuses you keep repeating. You hear the goals you keep postponing. You hear the emotional wounds you keep hiding from. And most importantly, you hear the person you could become if you stop distracting yourself long enough to listen. That morning habit changed me faster than almost anything else because it gave me something most people never experience anymore. Mental clarity. And clarity changes everything. Clear people make better decisions. Clear people protect their energy. Clear people stop chasing meaningless validation. Clear people move through life with intention instead of emotional confusion. The world profits from distracted people. Distracted people buy more, compare more, panic more, and think less. But the moment you reclaim your attention, you reclaim your power. That is why protecting your mornings is not a small habit. It is an act of psychological self-respect. So tomorrow morning, before you touch your phone, before you allow the world to speak into your mind, sit quietly for a moment and ask yourself one question. Am I controlling my attention, or is the world controlling me? Because the direction of your life is hidden inside the direction of your attention. One of the most dangerous conversations you will ever have is the conversation you have with yourself when nobody is listening. Because the words people speak publicly may impress others, but the words they repeat privately create their identity. Most people have no idea how violently they speak to themselves every single day. They would never speak to a friend the way they speak to their own mind. They would never look at someone they love and say, "You are useless." They would never tell another human being, "You always fail." They would never constantly remind someone of every mistake they ever made. But internally, they do it to themselves every day. And then they wonder why they feel mentally weak.